properties. Okay, now they're gonna hear us in 3, 2, 1. Hello, people.
Hi.
Yeah, if you heard that. Okay, yeah. I forgot that YouTube also does like the stupid 5-second. We're like 5 seconds ahead, so they'll hear it. We're basically behind, but it's fine.
So basically, we're in the future.
Yeah, we're time travelers.
Shit.
Yeah, but they can hear us, and yeah, so we definitely got this like up faster than the opening ceremony.
If you hear any purring, it's because my cat is like right on the microphone.
Yeah, like your cat's been all over the place, but as soon as we're like, okay, it's time to stream, steps on my fucking tablet.
Then gets right on the microphone.
Yeah, and by the way, this is not a tablet that's like the one where you like look at the screen. This tablet has a monitor in it, and this cat just jumps on top of it. It's already trying to hold together, like...
Gray up the cat. Nobody grays up my cat. He's already perfect.
Your cat will get gray with time, it's fine.
Yeah. Somebody just Photoshop little horns on him.
God. Oh, Lord. So, I should probably mention this before we get things on the road. So, here's the thing, guys. When you are the admin of an entire convention and there's a lot of things to go with, some things might not always get finished in time. So, what that means is that this panel is still happening, but we're having to switch some things around a little bit just because the original plan was to have a pre-recorded video and that itself would stream. But unfortunately, I'm still in the middle of editing it. So that video itself is going to be posted later, hopefully within the next couple of days. But in terms of the actual premise for what this panel stands for, me and Aysha are still going to be going over the basics of graying up in terms of like our views of it. And because of the fact that I've already grayed up Aysha before, I mean, I guess you have some more experience than you did before
I know the feeling of gray paint on your body.
Yeah, like...
I know that feel.
Yeah, I helped you experience that.
Yeah.
And, you know, it will be much more entertaining when the video comes. Maybe if I'm feeling generous, I might show some screenshots from it.
If Crow's feeling generous.
If I'm feeling
Crow
generous.
decides to, bless you all with their video.
If I get something in my coffee, I'll share it. I'm kidding. I'll probably still show it.
You always come to my house for liquor.
I come to your house for your water.
For my water.
Yeah, that's the only thing I drink over here.
Yeah.
Phone, no. It's probably my mom, but I will answer her later. Alright, so let's see. So one of the things that we're probably going to do first is just, since I don't have the outline, since of course this wasn't going to be a live stream thing, but since I have the script, and the script is generally what I would have repeated anyways, what we're going to do is I'm just going to basically explain and kind of word for word almost, but not quite, share part of what I had informed about within the script, and then by the end of things, I will probably just do Q&As and shit.
Yeah, I think that a good thing to be for this would be like people asking common questions. Like, what brands do you use? What?
Oh yeah, like absolutely. Because when I originally had like
etc.
When I originally had the video, it's like I think like first of all, no one wants to watch like a 40-minute video. So it's like this video I think was probably at average 15. So the idea would have been to answer questions anyways. But I think maybe at least for the formatting, this will be a little better. So let me pull up my little outline really quickly. Maybe I can give you guys something to stare at that is actually interesting. Because I love Data, but
I love Data.
Sometimes she needs a little bit of a beauty break.
Data's valid.
Let's see. We're going to add an image.
This is Crow searching for files ASMR. Everybody enjoy it.
Yeah. Nah, my files are on point. I almost got them. I have a specific folder for SAHCon, but then I have like graying up 101-1, graying up 101-2, because that's what I was doing this morning.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sure that this is a much more interesting.
This is, oh my god. This is a disaster. This is great audio, guys.
Oh, this is, you know what? It's a perfect fit. I love this. Yeah.
Great.
God. You know, you ever notice how, like, you'll use, like, a water-based, like, specifically, like, the water-based, gray face paint, and usually, I never have seen one where the edges aren't cracked. Like, even the new ones, the edges are just cracked because they don't, like, stay in. Like, I don't know what it is. It's probably just from moving around and the fact that Snazaroo is, like, one of the cheaper, but still valid, gray paints out there. But, you know, just, it's something I noticed. Meanwhile, other ones such as, like, Meron, they come, like, Meron can actually come in, like, its own little tube thing. Other times Merons come in, like, these, not even chapsticks, they're like one of those jumbo glue sticks that you have in 2nd grade. That's the kind of stuff that Meron is, like, usually in. But you know what? We can probably talk about that more once I actually, like, talk in the order that will be most beneficial. So I'm actually going to pull that up right now, which requires Google Doc. And I guess I can talk about gray stuff while I'm, like, kind of fiddling for that. So here's the thing. I've been graying since 2015, and I'm not going to try and act as if I'm a professional in it and if I know every single thing there is to know. Because, for example, I've never used packs, I don't use grease paint, I am still learning on the go time and time again. I know that I had literally just came from, MomoCon recently, and I'd been thinking about what I was going to do for this panel, and even during then when I was putting stuff on in the mirror, there was just different things that I kept discovering, and I'm like, well, this is why I postponed it, I guess, because the script is always going to outdate itself. So, the specific ones that we're going to be talking about are, cream base and water activated ones. We would do stuff like grease ones and like packs and all that, but it's like, again, only so much perspective because of the fact that you know, money is an interesting thing, and also just this, I would consider this 101 to be not only just kind of something for general ideas, but also something that helps with people who haven't done graying up before, like kind of a beginners, but also with some neat facts that I don't actually see a lot talked about for beginner stuff. Because, like, how do I describe it? Like, you'll see people talk about packs, and packs is a very valid thing to use. I would actually enjoy using it one day. But most times, at least from what I've seen on the internet, when you look up stuff that relates to, like, Homestuck Troll makeup, a lot of people are using Snazaroo and Meron, and they're not needed. They're not required. They're not required face paints. But because they're so common, it's probably best to have them as the one that's mainly mentioned within this one for beginners. Now, if this was intermediate or something and all that, then we could get into, like, nitty-gritty stuff, like stuff that I probably would love to know myself. But for right now, this panel is just how to get it basic, how to make sure you at least know what you're doing so you're not spending 5 hours out of an entire con day in front of the mirror struggling. So, alright, I got the outline open, so let me pull that into this tab so I can still see chat. Alright, Aysha, do you have the YouTube thingy open yourself?
What?
Do you have the YouTube stream open?
Oh, yes, sorry.
Alright, just making sure.
I was talking about heated gamer moments in the chat. Oh, it happens.
You know, it'd be nice, just while I'm pulling this up, I had been thinking about it on the top of my head. Cosplay next year, data Wi-Fi?
Are you gonna dress me up as Data Wi-Fi?
I mean, that would be we can both be Data. Here's the thing, though. I don't know where I could get diamond green glasses. That's the thing.
You gotta make them.
I could make them, but I'm lazy. I already made an entire con. Can someone else do it
Haven't you made
me?
like 3 Cronus shirts?
Shut your mouth. Shut your mouth.
Call that post.
Okay, Warbler's a good option. Why you call me out for my excessive Cronus shirts? By the way...
I'm just trying to keep it real. I'm just trying to keep you humble.
Yeah, not to spoil anything that would probably be obvious in the long run, but Cronus is going to be very relevant for our eventual video that we will post and maybe potentially share screenshots of.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. Let's see. Okay, so let's get this show kind of on the road because we're already 20 minutes in, but that's fine.
And all we've done is talk shit, which is fine.
Yeah. Also, yeah, we all need 3 Cronus shirts. One for testing it out.
One
the other
for a friend.
Yeah, one for a friend, one for testing out. The other one when you're so tired of ironing on the sign so many times that it keeps wearing off that you just buy something that already has it kind of painted into the seams. Data Wi-Fi meetup, yes. Let's see. Okay, cool. So, I'm going to kind of be like wording out this thing I wrote before, but kind of like free lipping it since we're all here. Okay. So, I've been doing this since 2015, and over the years I've gotten progressively better at it. Not perfect, but okay at it. And through some trials and errors, I've overcome some, and at least on some I've improved with. And that started with Snazaroo, and then it eventually started with me experimenting with different ones. Again, PAX is out of my reach thus far, but I've done like 4 different face paints. One of them being Snazaroo, another being Meron, another being Tag, and another being Ben Nye. And the thing is that those work completely fine. And even though my 2015 was a time, my graying up was not great. And that was because I wanted to gray up like other Homestucks, but I didn't look at any of the guides. And I eventually did look at the guides, and I did get better.
A lot of the guides are for pale skin, though, right?
A lot of them are for pale skin, which is another reason why I kind of wanted to make this to like have more digestible tutorial that can be for people that don't just have pale skin. But also because and this is actually within the next paragraph, a lot of graying up videos are usually very uniquely specific for certain characters. So you might be wanting to cosplay the Dolorosa, for example, but the only thing that you can find is like 20 different Karkats, and it's like those 20 different Karkats are valid, don't get me wrong, but they're so specific with his character, and they're kind of a speed paint that's like talking about their progress versus actually talking about like how the basics of troll makeup in general work that they've happened to apply to this character. Some people do multiple characters, but other times it's still a little bit unclear. And the other thing is too, I don't know if you guys noticed, but a lot of and if you have any of your own experiences, feel free to share in the chat. A lot of my resources are videos that are like back in 2013, 2014, maybe 2012 Homestuck. And it's like, again, those are completely helpful. But when it comes to maybe updated stuff, maybe things where new people coming in can share new experiences, and just basically we wanted to make this because I felt like it would be nice to have like an updated version. Like, not something that's going to be the grand all be all 101, tell your friends this is the best, because people will have their different perspectives on how things go about. But
somebody said, is graying up different for every character? And I think that, like, not really, but like the undertones that you use, like,
that depends on that's an interesting question, because graying up, like, for example, with the basis of this con, as I said, graying up has very specific starting points. It's kind of like it's kind of like drawing a circle, so you can eventually draw the face of a person, but you can also draw the face of a dog, etc. With graying up, it also depends on the person and what they want to do to maybe stand out and what they want to add on top of that gray paint.
Right. I guess like depends on your like headcanon of what you think the characters look like, because I see people give Karkat like freckles, I see people or just like doing blush for the undertone of the blood, right?
Yeah, I've also seen people who take the benefits of Snazaroo, sometimes having this blue tint and using it for when they do ceruleans or indigos. So it's like, yeah, it depends. I don't have this in my particular notes, but I remember I saw one person who actually foundationed their face before they put on the gray paint, and I think something in that like diluted the cool blue, so it wasn't as strong. I don't do that personally because, first of all, I don't use Snazaroo unless it's for my neck, because I'm less worried about the neck being shown off versus the face. But yeah, so graying up can be different, but it really depends on how different you yourself want to go, and that will depend on if you're looking specifically at the tint of gray that you're using, what your headcanons result in as to whether or not you want to add like makeup on top of the, like particular makeup on top of the gray face paint, like freckles, also in stuff related to contouring, though that definitely goes more into like makeup stuff that happens after you put the base gray on versus the actual graying itself, which I guess I should probably get into. Let's see. Okay. So anyways, yeah. A lot of these time lapses from the past, they're helpful, but I kind of just wish there was one that was a little bit more universal, even if it didn't give all the facts. So that's why I'm here. And Aysha's here because I happened to gray her up because she was my guinea pig.
Yes.
Yeah.
What we did for like 4 hours last
We did
Monday.
it for 4 hours, and we're only going to have like 15 minutes of footage, which is fine. Let's see. Contouring. I contour all the time.
Jokes.
Alright, so let me just like read directly from this fucking thing. So yeah. Let's see. Okay. Graying Up 101, a basic one-stop guide to Homestuck troll makeup. My perspective edition for people maybe on a budget, because disclaimer, as I mentioned, there are different ideas on how to go about this stuff. I use 101, One Stop, and Universal very loosely because this is just my way that'll hopefully help others for a basic approach with the resources that I personally have. That said, I don't have the most expensive mascara. I don't have every brand of face paint under the sun. But like I already used the fucking spear fucking allegory. Yeah, hopefully this would be a good way to form an idea of how one wants to go about advancing their troll makeup in the future, and how they want to go with eventually advancing the things they might be interested in, such as other makeup brands, trolls that vary distinctly from each other, and also depending on like how one's body works, because I remember when we were graying up Aysha, and I know that we were having a little bit of trouble with your eyes, just a little, because they were just...
I told you my creases are really weird. Every time any professional person does my makeup, they're like, if I put anything on your eyes, it just smears everywhere. I'm like, I don't know.
Yeah, I've had smearing problems too, but I've had like... There are ways to like go about with helping it. Like, I remember when we were doing it, one of the things I helped with was putting the gray face paint on, but then since we were gonna go in with contouring anyways, putting on like the dark gray or black eyeshadow, so that kind of helped things not only somewhat stay in place, but also since it was gonna be dark anyways, it kind of stays there better than the thicker cream. Checking chat real quick. Yeah, con full of car cats. We'll take questions, but we prefer if questions are at the end, just so we can like get through the majority of like information. I was a bit lenient. That word. I was okay with answering that one. So yeah, it all depends on one person's own body. That said, make sure you read the ingredients before you use your makeup, because that's my disclaimer as saying that I'm not responsible for any allergic reactions.
Also, I mean, like, do a swab test. So, like, put a tiny bit of it on your arm and wait a day. Well, don't keep it on for a day. But, like, wait and see if you get a rash. And if not, and if you do, don't put it on your face.
Yeah.
Ovs.
It's just
you should do that with every new makeup that you get.
Yeah, it's just, does this have peanut
just
butter in it?
For a
Puts
second.
it in my mouth.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm not allergic to anything, so I haven't had this issue. But yeah. Okay, so here's some more shit that I, like, wrote down. So, again, using Snazaroo, I've been using Snazaroo and Maron as, like, the ones that I think of the most when I'm referring to how I go about my usual process with this. Maron is a cream-based and Snazaroo is water-based. Snazaroo, you need water to apply it on, and you can also use water, or you do use water, to take it off. Maron's cream-based, and you can use water to get Maron off, but it is noticeably harder. So what's recommended with that is obviously using, like, makeup wipes, soap, stuff like that.
I use some very dry makeup wipes.
Yeah.
Just so you know.
Yeah, I gave you what I could. I didn't want to run to Walmart really quick, like. I'm gonna run to Walmart and get you a pack so you can use 3 of them.
Jesus fucking
Christ. Yeah, by the way, you know what? I didn't write this in my notes, but I'm gonna mention this already. I want every Homestuck to remember that if you are going to a hotel and you are graying up, bring your own towels. Do not use the white towels that they provide you in the hotel room. It's just common courtesy. Like, same thing goes for not doing a lot of other stuff, as lightly as I can put it. I think that in North Carolina, we had one convention that no longer exists that was one of, if not maybe not the one, but at least one of the ones that were known for the horror stories where Homestucks jumped into the pool with their gray face paint on. Yeah. Not great stuff. I'm glad that I wasn't there. Yeah, be good to hotels. Like, they're catering for us. We have to treat them well. Like, don't be one of those people who are just touching everything without your paint sealed, just graying up property, all that. Just, this is one of the reasons why some Homestucks have almost been, like, banned from conventions, and then that, like, can fall into other fandoms such as Steven Universe, and then people start fighting, and that's never fun. And it could have been avoided. It could have been avoided if Sally just grayed up the back of her neck before she sat on that couch.
Jesus Christ, Sally!
God damn it, Sally! We can't fucking take
never
you
seals
anywhere.
her paint.
Ugh, fucking Sally. Yeah, seal your paint. This was all the way down on page 3, but I'm just gonna emphasize it. Seal your paint. Don't use the towels. Just be considerate. Don't touch that Rose Quartz's dress. I beg you. Mm-hmm. It's dove white. You don't need your concrete gray smearing everywhere. It's just damage to property is what I'm trying to get at. Anyways, we went on for a bit because sealing your paint, that's at least a problem that's happened with Carolina Stucks, but I know it's something that at least happened a lot during early Homestuck, and we're better at it, but obviously every other day there's probably someone new who gets into Homestuck, gets into cosplaying in general, and it's important to remind
Shelby
people.
told me a story about one Dragon Con where a bunch of them were all grayed up, and Jason Momoa, who was like super drunk, got into the elevator with them, and he was like, "What are you guys?" "Oh, a bunch of little Shreks." "Hi, little Shreks."
Oh. You know, I didn't expect that to be it. I didn't expect that to
My
be...
little Shreks.
My little Shreks. Ugh.
Yes, you can use baby powder to seal paint. That's what we used on me.
Oh, yeah.
Like, and then Reese came home and is like, "Why is there cocaine in my sink?"
I wasn't there for that. Oh, yeah, we forgot to wash it out.
Yeah, also, don't fucking be a shitty roommate like me.
Yeah.
Aww.
God. Okay, so let's see. Aysha has gone to the kitchen, so I will continue to talk.
I'm putting coffee in my Dave mug.
Okay. You go Kenan over there.
I'm gonna go Ken.
Alright, let's see. So anyways, yeah, Snazaroo, in my opinion, from what I've seen, I should stop saying my opinion for some of these things, because I'm pretty sure Snazaroo is the cheaper alternative compared to Meron. You can get it fairly easy. Like, I've known some Walmarts that just casually carry it, and Meron is a little bit harder to find, at least around here.
You use Meron on me, right?
Yeah, I did. I personally use both, and the only reason I use Snazaroo nowadays is if I'm just doing a quick little fun con or maybe a get together, or if I'm doing my neck, because I don't really care about my neck that much because no one's really going to be looking at it versus my face. And in my opinion, Snazaroo smears less than Meron, unless you're like sweating a lot or whatever. Or yeah, so I prefer Snazaroo for the neck, Meron for the face, but that's up to you and also your budget. Oh yes, Snazaroo is also good for like touch-ups, in my opinion, because also since it smears a little less with my body, that means that if I needed like maybe touch up underneath my eye, I don't have to worry about also bringing my entire bag of baby powder with me. It just helps. But if anything, you should still always have like a cosplay first aid on hand. And since I know people are bringing it up, yes, arm socks are really great. Don't quote me on this, but I thought someone told me that the place where a lot of people like get they get like stockings or whatever pantyhose to turn into arm socks. I heard recently that they actually started selling gray arm sleeves or whatever. So yeah, so maybe they found out the Homestucks were getting all their gray tights.
Yeah, I mean, I'm honestly like just why I don't know. Never mind. I'm not gonna talk shit on this stream.
Yeah, don't get canceled now.
I'm not gonna get.
Yeah, but arm socks are a really good alternative. They're more costly and more time consuming, and if you make them yourself, I mean, if you're making anything for cosplay, I recommend watching something in the background or listening to something in the background. Just zone out, talk to your friends, and focus, and let your hands work. But it can be very worth it in the end, because instead of having to watch yourself and instead of having to put in the effort to make sure it looks like really good, if you're trying to get more perfection versus just casualness, it's just an easy slide. The only thing is that it is a little tight around the midsection, because you are cutting a hole on the inside of the tights, which means that it is, yeah, like I said, hugging. But I'm sure that there are people who have alternatives to that, such as just making long gloves. But yeah, so what else do we have? Because I definitely am going out of order, but that's fine because I'm getting stuff done. Aysha.
Yes.
Where is the nearest charger?
An iPhone charger?
Computer charger.
Oh. I mean, I don't have a charger for that computer.
Oh, yeah, well, let me rephrase that, an outlet.
Oh, next to you.
Oh, I knew that.
I was like, I don't have a charger for you, dog.
Yeah.
You see this Mac on my body?
Here, I'm controlling the microphone.
Here, I got the microphone.
Okay, thanks. Okay, so yeah.
This is behind the curtain, y'all.
Yeah, pay no attention to the brat behind the curtain. Look at this mess. Alright, what else can I talk about while I'm getting this? Okay, yeah, blah, 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 all that. So, I already, there's a lot of stuff that I'm, repeating from this, script, and like I told you guys, we are going to be posting the actual video, just not for this con because we weren't as prepared as we thought, and it's gonna be more polished, and it's gonna be listenable. Yeah, with cracking and flaking, you do have to be careful with that particular stuff in terms of sealing and how many layers you put on your face. But that actually is going to come up almost about right now, because we're actually in the section where I just start going about my progress with graying up. And as soon as I get this fucking charger out of the thing.
You have so many wires.
I do. I'm so wired.
It's so millennial here, guys. It's peak.
Okay.
So I guess you're Gen Z, aren't you?
I'm 22, so.
Yeah, Gen Z.
God.
I don't play Fortnite.
I'm old.
Yeah. I mean,
Let me plug it in.
Well, I need scissors because it's stuck on the string.
Jesus fucking Christ.
Yeah. So, yeah, while they're getting that, I can still obviously talk.
We're oppressed.
Yeah, it's fine. This panel itself was definitely not gonna fit for an hour, so it's fine that we're like, obviously fucking around. This whole entire convention is about fucking around.
Yeah, I mean, it's Homestuck.
Yeah, it's Homestuck. Okay, so we're finally getting to the fucking meat.
Why did you say it like that?
Because I like meat.
Oh boy.
All right. Let's see, I'm still reading comments. We are okay, so we're doing this through audio because frankly my camera sucks, and there's no real reason to really have much going on in the back in terms of like something to look at, but when we get the actual video out,
don't want to see my face right now. I've not slept very much in the past couple
of
days.
Yeah.
I look like a drug addict.
Yeah, so you guys aren't going to see our face today. When we put the video up, however, you will be able to see Aysha get into Redacted. So,
oh boy.
And that will be very funny. At least to me.
I'm glad you're having a good time.
I'm always having a good time.
It was very fun, actually. I had a good time.
Oh, I'm so glad. Alright, cool. So, here is the, here's where we get to the actual fucking graying up stuff. And what I mean by stuff, I mean actual material.
I think that you should probably use a makeup sponge for applying. I can't really think of anything else you would use.
Yeah. Well, I have like a bunch of these different things within, my list. Some of these are optional, but I'm going to list them all off and then basically differentiate from the ones that I actually prefer as being there 100%. What I have used is, for my overall progress of graying up, I've used a wig cap, lotion, primer, chapstick, makeup brush, makeup blending sponge, baby powder, sealing spray, hairspray, the paint of your choice, like Snazzy Romero on packs, whatever, an eyeshadow palette, a darker gray paint, a white/lighter gray paint, lipstick, eyeliner, mascara, eyebrow filler, and bonus for if you want to do, like, for example, the freckle thing. I know some people will apply freckles via... They'll apply freckles via flicking the makeup via a toothbrush. I personally have not done that, so that's y'all's thing. Over here for optionals, I also have contacts because I don't know, like, it's always kind of a back and forth in terms of, do you put your contacts in before the gray or do you put them in after? And from what I've heard, it is better to put them in before. Let's see. It's better to put them in before. This is a gray face paint tip panel mostly. There are some cosplay stuff that we have kind of touched on here or there, but it's mostly gray paint. But yeah, contacts. I prefer putting the contacts in before you before you start painting your face. Because if you put on all your makeup and stuff and then you try and put the contact in after all that, you have two risks. A, you have the risk of, your eye watering and that ruining your work. And B, you have the risk of makeup getting in your eye and
your eye, dog.
Yeah, pain in your eye, potential infection, shit you maybe want to avoid the day before the con. Now there is like a weird situation when it comes to people who use white mesh, because as a Dancester cosplayer, I've used white mesh and it's troubling. I authentically could not tell you guys the best solution for that, because my solution has always been, actually, despite what I just said, putting them on after. And you probably should not do that, but the only reason that I do it is because when you put in white mesh, it fogs up your vision. Because here's the thing.
Don't put that in your eye, dog.
No, it has tiny holes in it, so it like you can still see through it, but because they're just tiny holes, it's a little foggy, and you can see in neutral lighting rooms, but if you stare out in the sun or if it's really bright, you might need a hand holder, maybe?
Yeah, I do not. I have never put even... I wear glasses, but I have never put a contact in my eye. I have, like, eye-related trauma.
Yeah, so I'm not gonna say do it after so you can see. The safest thing, because this is about 101, it's not about, like, being the best. The safest thing you can do is either just attempt putting it on with the contacts in, preferably in a dimmer room, or just not wearing them at all. You shouldn't risk your health for cosplay, and I hope that gets across people more than it doesn't nowadays. Because I know people who just, like, you need to take breaks. If something's feeling off with your paint, take it off if you need to. Something feeling wrong with your contacts, your binder, etc., take it off. No one's gonna shame you for it, and if they do, they don't deserve to be in the same space as you.
Cosplay is not worth hurting yourself over.
Yeah, cosplay's for fun.
Wear comfortable shoes. Don't be like me and wear heels and then have to take them off 30 minutes into the con.
Don't be like me at KatsuCon where I was poor and wearing 3-inch heels.
I met you when you were poor for the first time, and you were like way taller than you actually are.
Yeah, guys. When me and Aysha, I mean, we're like neighbors at this point, but we met each other at a state, and I was dressed up as Porum, and it's just, I'm wearing these heels 3 inches taller than I usually am. Say I'm a security guard, but then I come over next time and I'm like, I'm a little tiny. A tiny Jinzy.
Yeah, you were like, I'm a security guard? I was like, oh my god, Porum's a security guard.
Headcanon. God. So she's Kankery's security guard, so that makes sense.
Yeah.
Let's see.
True.
Okay, so anyways, recapping it one more time. Actually, before I recap, okay, I authentically need to put this in the charger.
God damn it.
Why is this...
Why is this happening?
Oh, I did not even know those scissors were there. Look, I'm a blind bat. Okay, that's better. Okay, so...
all that paint you got in your eye.
Yeah, and our panel is not going to be lasting too much sooner, so I'm going to skim through this so people have a chance to answer questions. Okay, so, as said before, I've used a wig cap, lotion, primer, chapstick, makeup brush, blending sponge, baby powder, seal spray, hairspray, paint of choice, eyeshadow palette, dark gray paint, white or lighter gray paint, lipstick, eyeliner, mascara, eyebrow filler, and you can use contacts or toothbrush, but they are, of course, more optional than these optionals. And out of these, the ones that I would say are the absolute ones that you would need, even if you were doing the least amount for gray, is lotion, makeup sponge, your gray, a sealer, and an eyeshadow palette, and eyeliner. So here's where things actually get interesting and informational. To start off, you're gonna wash and you're gonna lotion your face so it's clean and it's moisturized prior to putting on your makeup. If you want, you can put primer on your face, which helps fills and creases, makes the makeup last longer, and overall provides a smoother surface to work with. Like, when I was editing the video today, Aysha, I remembered you mentioned that your face felt so much more equal.
I felt so smooth.
Yeah, you felt very smooth.
I was very smooth.
Very smooth. And it's like, after that, you put the primer on, and of course, like I said, it's optional. Here's one that I should have added as actually being, like, probably something you should very much consider being recommended. And I don't actually see a lot of people recommend this when they do graying up. Put on chapstick. Chapstick is so fucking important. I've had so many times in which I've had, like, grayed up my lips or put lipstick on it, and because of all the rubbing, all this shit throughout the day, especially if you're, like, maybe, for example, wearing fangs, all that, your lips start, like, exfoliating because you just put all this makeup and stuff and done all this stuff that dries out your skin. So chapstick is going to help, put, like, a protective layer over your skin so that happens less. And if only I knew that sooner, I'd have so many better situations.
So many better lips situations.
So many better kissable lips. Ugh. But yeah, chapstick's important. And finally, you need we would recommend your wig cap. Again, it's one of those things where it's not optional. Oh, it is optional, but I would prefer if it wasn't. It's just good, so you are A, getting where you need to without your hair getting in the way, and B, so you're just not like one of the things that happens sometimes, especially if you have long hair, strands might get in the way. They might get on your face, and in the middle of your stuff drying, if that's on there and you don't notice it until it's too late and you get it out the way, you might notice, like, little streaks and all that. And that's never great, having to go back over your stuff unless you really need to. So yeah, that's the setup. And for the actual graying, let's speed run this even more. For this, I prefer using the makeup brush versus a sponge if I'm using cream-based paint like Maron. But for either, you can start... what I do is I start streaking on the gray face paint for a messy first layer on my face, just so it kind of sets the paint as, like, almost a lighter canvas for the second layer to work on. I at least prefer this because, like, I have darker skin, and I find that to be more helpful. Since, I don't exactly have a white palette to show things off a little easier. But, yeah. First streaks for first layers, because that's just going to be hidden. And, don't forget your neck. If you're comfortable with it, do your ears, so on. I let it sit for a moment, especially if I'm using Snazaroo. And then I repeat the action with the second layer. It helps layer on paint, as said before. I maybe wait for another second. To me, it just kind of helps waiting for a bit just to help stuff set on your face. And also, so when you start putting more stuff on, it doesn't smear away from the area you put the gray paint on, versus kind of helping blend things. So after you do that, unless you decide to do this already with the second layer, you can take your makeup blending sponge. And what I do is I add a small little layer of gray, just so it helps with that smearing issue. And I take the blending sponge and I rub it onto my face in a kind of dabbing circular motion, because versus the streaks, which are just like these long strokes, this is just, yeah, dabbing and turning those streaks into more like circles that start blending in with each other. And so it makes things look way less streaky in the long run. And if you need to test out to see how your makeup looks, I recommend looking in the mirror from different distances. I noticed that it helps to see if you look a little streaky from a distance, or if your contouring is too strong, if you like test it out. And that can depend on how strong you actually want it, be it for like distant views or close-up photography, just depending on how you are planning to use your cosplay for that day. Oh yeah, and also don't put your wig on before your gray face paint. Just don't ruin your wig, trust me. But yeah, and you can use a smaller makeup brush just to get around tight corners such as the edge of your nose, your eyelids, etc., etc. Maybe even your ears, again, if you're like comfortable with that. It's better than just kind of trying to like squeeze the fucking sponge in that crevice and messing something up. If you're trying to put lipstick on your troll, like if you're doing a troll that has more prominent black lips, then I would recommend not graying up your lips and just leaving the lipstick portion to when you're like putting on the makeup. So yeah, when you're lipsticking, don't gray up your lips. In my opinion, it helps it because the black will be much more prominent versus it slightly blending into the gray, unless you want that. And here's another tip that I learned. Sometimes you don't need the most expensive sealer for your lipstick. Sometimes you just have to keep kissing a tissue until it stops smearing, and then you can eat an entire cheeseburger, and you'll be amazed. You'll be so amazed. That was another experience with Porm. It was very funny. Let's see. Okay. So yeah, lips vary on whether you're doing that or not. Otherwise, you can gray them as well as the rest of your face. After you're done painting your face, I probably do one more weight just to feel confident with myself. And then I recommend not raising your eyes up, and maybe keeping a poker face, not only if you need for your paint to dry, but when you're sealing it. Because if you're smiling, if you're frowning too deeply, if you're looking up, if you're making creases in your face move around,
just have no feelings.
Yeah,
for like at
have
least 15
no
minutes.
feelings. You're not in character yet, so don't feel. It just helps, like, so you don't have to go back too much. But yeah. So here's a fun fact: if you have a character that has long hair, you can potentially get away with not doing the back of your neck or your ears. There's no point unless you just really, really want to be accurate, because it will probably be hidden. Just a little tip. So yeah, sealing time. Sealing is important. We already talked about that. You can seal in a bunch of different ways. Choke for a second. I need water. Porum and tissue paper, new OTP. Same. Okay. Baby powder is the most, universally known. I recommend baby powder especially for Meron, because Meron has like a sticky feeling to it when you first put it on your face, and when you put on baby powder, it actually
really like
it really fucking dries it. It makes it feel less oily and more set, and you're able to touch it without it smearing so much. And it helps give you like a little bit of a leadway of where you still need to put your where you still need to seal, and where you're fine on your skin. So baby powder, I recommend it for Snazaroo too. Sealer, like Ben 9 stuff, that also works, though maybe it's just me. It doesn't always work that well as baby powder, but I always recommend it at least for like a second final seal, just as like a spritz. And if you don't have that, you can do what I did and spray Aysha Farah in the face with hairspray.
Yeah, it'd be like that.
It'd be like that sometimes. It's a good alternative if you don't have anything else around. I wouldn't rely on it, but I use it again for like a final spritz. Just saying, by the way, hopefully we finish up soon, but we are at 4 minutes, so I might sneak in just a little bit of time. It's fine. Alright, so yeah, Meron's sticky, but it's fine. Baby powder, sealer, hairspray, all of them is good. When you're sealing yourself, especially with baby powder, watch out for how you breathe, because it can get very sneezy. When it gets very sneezy, you might mess up on some stuff. That is okay. It is just practice. Sometimes you don't even have to mess up if you hold it in. I would not recommend holding it in, though. I don't think a lot of people do. Alright. Next, you're basically, that was basically the gray at its core. Like, no contouring, no detail, that's just getting the gray on there and sealing it. And in my opinion, if you still have a problem with maybe the gray face paint not looking as even as you'd like, baby powder, in my opinion, helps smooth it out even more. I don't know what it is. Maybe it's the white kind of filling in, like, particular, like, little crevices in it. I just think baby powder helps with the final, like, it helps with the final, smoothing out, and it helps it look definitely less greasy. Oh, the cat is back.
Yeah, the cat's back.
Yeah. Okay, time to skim even more. Okay, next one is basically contouring. You can take gray or dark gray or black eyeshadow if you're not going to use dark gray paint. And you can use that as contouring, like around your cheekbones, your nose, within the hollows of your eyes. You can use it to shape your nose, shape your chin, shape around, like, you can even put it, like, around the sides of your face, maybe under your neck, so that affects, like, how the chin might look. Stuff like that. Contouring is very important, because when you put on the gray face paint, it just immediately erases it kind of erases all the shadows and stuff.
You became a blob.
Yeah, you became a blob, because it erases the shadow. There's so much light reflecting, so you kind of need that balance to return it all. You can also use, like, white to highlight on your face. I personally don't, because I just don't really need it for myself. But you can use highlight just to highlight where you need to be, like on the forehead, eyebrow ridges, directly on, like, the front of your nose, etc. But yeah, eyeshadow is a really good alternative for just contouring. It can also be good for, like, sealing, like helping like the creases around the eyes, especially since they're gonna have to be a little bit darker there anyways. Okay, here's another one that I just recommend. Eyeliner. Again, when you gray out, it erases a lot of your natural features and just it takes away the emphasis of your eyes. Like eyeliner, in my opinion, helps brings back the definition of your eyes, so it's not just like white on white, and it takes away like whatever size you might want for them. Just it helps them pop is what I'm trying to say. Also, you can use mascara for your eyelashes, because if you're graying up, they are definitely going to get grayed up as well, and I'd recommend doing that so they regain their definition, so you don't look like a ghost. And and graying up, you also should fill in your eyebrows again. Eyebrows are good for making expressions, and also just eyebrows. They're good. You can use like a regular eyebrow filler, or eyebrow liner, or whatever it's called. Just you can use that, especially if you're not working for too much detail. I know some people who do eyeliner itself as coloring over their eyes. I don't really do that. I might do it maybe to sharpen the edges a little, and even then you can sharpen by just again taking a small makeup brush, taking the gray face paint, and like cleaning up those edges. I know a friend who shaves off their eyebrows.
Oh, God.
And
they are too powerful.
Yeah, we recommend it like doing the method where you glue down your eyebrows so they're kind of more visible. But no, they just shave off their eyebrows, and you know what? More power to them, I guess. Essentially skimming through what we've gone through thus far, making sure your face is good before you put on the gray face paint, putting on the gray face paint, sealing the gray face paint. Ooh, that's a little helicopter. Sealing the gray face paint, putting on the makeup, and then also I forgot, eyeshadow is also good for blush. Blush is good if you want to also make your makeup look less of a ghost and more have that flush to them. You don't have to go overboard with it. In my opinion, less is more. We all have blush to our face, which is what adds the color to our face, but we're not all like scorching red. So if you're doing like Carcat, kind of dab it on. You can kind of mix it in with your gray too. Just blend. Blending is really Gucci. And what else? We're getting toward the end, guys. Here's something that I've recently gone into, and this goes back to lips. Again, if you are doing a troll that has more prominent lips, I would recommend not graying up your lips during the graying up progress and just coloring your lips after the fact with lipstick. Even what I've done before sometimes just to shape my lips is use an eyeliner pen, and I shape it how I want to before filling in the lines for the illusion of a different lip shape. But other times, if you just want a troll that has like subtle gray or maybe just subtle definition brought back to their lips, since it will get whited out by the gray, what you can do is you can take a little bit of lipstick, like a finger dab of lipstick, kind of rub it on your lips and just mouth over it. So then it eventually starts blending and you get a very subtle gray that will be there, but it won't be like scorching. I prefer this myself when I do male trolls, but obviously anyone can do what they want. It's just something that I've only now recently discovered, since usually it's either lipstick or just painting your lips gray and that's it. But it really, all this contouring helps bring stuff back that the gray face paint erased. So especially since it helps the trolls look like they belong more in the world, in my opinion. And let's see, anything else that I have to... Oh yeah, after you're done with all your gray, well, we already said the gray. When you're done with all your makeup, seal again. You already sealed with your gray face paint, but you need to seal with all the other stuff that you added on top of it, all the gray that you like may or may not have like put in to fix anything that like messed up. Sealing is always important. Of course, you don't want to go too overboard in case things crack or maybe things feel too sticky, but just fraction your stuff out. Use spritzes of the spray that you need. Powder over your face, but don't cake yourself. Just be careful, and also just use common sense when it comes to that kind of stuff. And for the most part, I think that in terms of a general description, we're done.
Should I post the picture?
Which one?
Of me.
You mean the ominous one?
Yeah. Or do you want to wait?
You can post the ominous one,
Okay.
because it's not the full one. Where are you posting it?
On panel C, right?
Cool. I don't, like, is there a panel going on right now in panel room C?
Yes.
Okay, cool. So...
Wait, I thought that was ours.
Oh, we already passed 5 minutes.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll just post it in the, I'll just put it on my Twitter.
Okay, cool. Yeah, so go to Aysha Farah's Twitter if you want to see something cursed. And the curse being my doing, in which you can also follow me at YoIt'sCrow on Twitter. Before we go, I guess I'll see if anyone wants to take any questions, though since the chat room for panel C is currently being, like, you know, taken with the other one. All questions that I'm going to answer, which will probably only be within a 5-minute time frame, are going to be in the YouTube chat specifically. So apologies for anyone who's answering in the Discord right now. And now we play the waiting game. Your cat I felt something just sit on my left leg,
Yep.
and it started to fall asleep.
Alright.
Alright, Aysha has posted it, and you know, I know that I did it already, but I'm scared still just looking at it.
Yeah, it terrifies me.
Yeah, I'm scared for other people.
Are you done?
Almost. Alright. Alright, guys, 2 more minutes of any questions you want to spill out there real quick, and then I'll be outie. Aysha, after this, what is your next panel gonna be?
I have a panel at 2 p.m. It is a commentary track of the Follicle and Cup Rum Friend Sim.
Mm-hmm. Okay, cool. I have a lot of panels going on. I can't remember my next one, but it's either going to be... I think it's Before Us, I Hardly Know Us with Banana Envelope, and then I have YouTube Stuck. I have YouTube Stuck extension with Segoy Quest for Kokoro. I have Scribblio Stuck, and then I have the closing ceremonies. The best way to paint your hands, I just personally would not paint your hands.
Yeah, just
If you...
socks.
Yeah, just wear socks. I know that some people have recommended packs, but that's something you'll have to look up. People aren't going, like, my opinion is that if you're not painting your face, you don't have to go too hard on things that aren't the facial area. And if you wanted to go feral one day and just, or maybe,
Yeah, y'all ever want to go ape shit?
yeah, if you want to go feral, or if you're maybe doing like a photo shoot at home and you just want to gray up, but also maybe you still don't want to touch anything, at least paint the top of your arms and not your palms, like the place where you'll be touching.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, I would just, unless you're in your own private like area or a controlled environment, I would just not recommend graying up your hands. But that's just me. And we have one person who's asking tips for cosplaying Gamzee. Gamzee is interesting. This is like kind of going into the question we got before about different graying ups for different trolls. Gamzee is interesting because he has like white and then a different kind of gray in a way, unless you just want to use Snazaroo gray, which is completely fine. His gray is a little bit different. But with Gamzee specifically, as far as I can tell you, I recommend doing like, you know, the usual stuff that we just talked about for this one, but it's just going to be white. And what you did for your lips, I would recommend doing that for the parts of his face that are going to be gray. So probably just make on your face first a some general outlines of like the big smile that he has, the triangles, all that, and then put your white face paint around those areas, and you can get on the lines, of course, because you're gonna have to redo them, but just like focus on those areas, and then when you're done with that, go in and start going within the outline that you made, like fill in the space that you just kept empty with the gray. Go back in probably with a finer brush and just clean up the edges if you need to. And yeah, and then you seal it. Gamzee still works in the same way as you would for other trolls when it comes to contouring. If you need to redo some areas, just do. But it's always, in my opinion, it's always gray base first, contouring second. In between both of those, you seal. And yeah, so that's about it. We are 10 minutes past our time, and some of us have to do moderator stuff. Some of us have to probably eat. So, and I have an Artist Alley panel, or not an Artist Alley booth. I have an Artist Alley booth that I need to sell stuff at. So, not sell stuff, commissions. If anyone wants to stop by, I have like 2 slots maybe left over. I might do more, but yeah. Also a coffee, in case you want to be generous. Aysha, you have a coffee too, right?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah. Again, Aysha Farah and Yo It's Crow on Twitter. So that's the panel, guys. Be sure to stick around if you want on this YouTube in like a couple of days, or once I get to it where we actually release the actual video with an actual time lapse and some more talking of me and Aysha during the painting progress, and you get to see the cursed being that Aysha became. Yeah, it's gonna be great. And we're gonna be returning to the Discord, so we will see you guys there.
See you, fam.
Boy.